Welcome back. This is Brilliance, and I'm Brad. Thanks for coming back. I am grateful that you're here. If you're here right now, more than likely you've done a lot of work. So this is day 29. We went through personal stories. We've gone through purpose. There's been plenty of books and tools and tips and tricks. And so you've come a long way. In the last episode, we talked briefly about the difference between where you are now, where you want to go, and in the middle column, you put some barriers. So we're going to begin to talk about those barriers, but before we do, I want to talk about a subject that can be a little bit fuzzy for some people, or a little bit confusing, even chaotic for some. Not for others, but for some it is. And that is the power of intention. So this can be for some a little bit of a woo-woo kind of subject. There's different movies and there's different subjects on it, and sometimes it gets a little bit out there. I don't know that I'm really into all that kind of stuff, but I am into the reality of it. If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, they talked about the power of desire and purpose, the definiteness of purpose, and how that's a vibration. And there's definitely some physics involved in that. So I have delved deep into the physical aspect of that and how those correlate. I won't bore you with all that kind of stuff. Some people are into it, some people aren't. I can certainly guide you or direct you if you're looking for that kind of information or if you want suggestions on books. But I don't want to put a whole long video out on a particular specific subject that people just don't want to hear about. They're just not into it. So that's definitely that's an intention, all joking aside. But the fact that I want to key in on is that it is energy. Our information, our thoughts, the space between thoughts and the thought that's created is energy. In a nutshell, that's where it is. That's where everything lies. So that's intention. I'll tell you a quick little story. So way back I was going through some of my journals, and if you've been following the videos, you know that I'm a heavy journaler. So way back in the year 1999 and 2000, I listened to a great series. It was by Deepak Chopra. This is back when he originally came out. And it was tremendous. And one of the things that stuck with me, and it stuck with me all these years, and the reasons why I turned toward studying physics, was it interested me that he had said that there's a thought, and then we have another thought. But in between that, there's a space. And in that space, we have the ability, the infinite ability, to create a new thought. And that fascinated me. It still fascinates me to this day. But again, without being too specific, he said that you have infinite possibilities and only limited probability. And that may sound confusing or difficult for some. Maybe not. It's a really easy process, but the probability is based on the experiences that we've had so far in life. So that limits our probability of what that new thought would be. It's a really simple process, but I find it fascinating. What's interesting in that is the energy that we can create. If we laser in on where we are, where we want to go, what our barriers are, then we can use the power of intention and laser focus to focus either on those barriers or where we want to head. And that is the beauty in this. Once you know your purpose or have even a general idea about it, once you know what your barriers are and where you want to head, there is nothing that can stop you but you. Now, we're going to need some help from other people. We're going to need some resources and tips and tricks, but that's one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos, and hopefully you'll stick with me. So the power of intention, I'll talk more about that, but again, it can be a woo-woo situation, and I didn't want to go too much into it. But that's the general basis of it. So I am grateful that you're here. I do have a call to action for today. There are two things that I think will help close out this section, because whether you know it or not, I'm working within some confines of a section that I have, and we're just about to close that out. And I'll tell you about that tomorrow, what that is and what I've done and how I've gotten there. But I do have a strategy in mind to take you from one place, take us from one place to another. I didn't just walk in here randomly, and I have a strategy. So hopefully you're enjoying it, and I'm growing, along with you as we walk through the process. So here's the call to action for today. There are 2 tools. You may have used them before, maybe not. If not, that's great. It'll be something new, but you will have to Google them. The first one is Life Wheel. So I use a Life Wheel system. I use it a little bit. I customize my wheel, and I'll talk about the 12, 13 areas that I use that are specific to me. I can send you the link if you prefer. If you get on the billbrilliance.net website and you request that, I'm happy to send you what I use. I'll even give you the tips and tricks and the ideas of how I customize that to me, because the standard Life Wheel just doesn't have enough information. It's not broke down far enough for me. I'm a little more organized than that. But it's great to get started and for general purposes. So do a Life Wheel for yourself. So that will help, again, see where we are, and it'll also show you the areas that need to be enhanced along with the barriers that you've already identified. It'll give you a much wider focus. So I highly recommend that. Do a Life Wheel. The second is what's used mostly in business. It's called a SWOT analysis, SWOT. And for those of you who may not be aware of it, it's used at various, usually in the beginning of a business, but it can also be used throughout as well. And there's no reason why you can't use it in your personal awareness as well. So I do this on a regular basis. Every 6 months to a year, I do a SWOT analysis on myself. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So it's just a small matrix. It's four blocks, and you can write those out. Once again, I can send you one if you prefer that I just send you a form. I have one. I can send it to you in PDF. I can even send it to you in Excel. It doesn't matter, whatever's easier for you. Just get on the billbrilliance.net website and give me a shout and tell me that you're interested in that. I'll be happy to send you one. So that's another tool and tip and trick for you. You can also just Google it. I mean, if you Google SWOT, you'll have a million things come up, literally. There's different variations to it, but if you just use that in thinking about you and your brilliance, where you are, where you want to go, what your strengths are currently, what opportunities lie out there. Don't spend a lot of time on the weaknesses. We're going to talk about strengths. That's upcoming. So we're leaning toward talking about beliefs, digging into that a little bit, and talking about strengths. That's what's upcoming. So I want to thank you for joining me. I want to congratulate you for all the work you've done. If you've followed these videos, you have done a tremendous amount of personal work, and I commend you for that. Thank you for being here. Join me tomorrow. And if you like the videos, please tap the subscribe button. Just go ahead and just tap that. That will help me out. It'll help you out if you need to find them easier. You can either choose whether you want to get notified or not. Just check in once in a while. But the subscribe button will help. So I appreciate that, and I'm grateful. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.